Hey guys, Midget here and welcome to my review of Season 5, Episode 4, Slabtown. Okay, so this episode I thought was really good. It starts off with Beth waking up in Atlanta. By the looks of things, we see a quick glance and it sort of reminded me of that landscape of the first official background of Season 1, for Season 1 I should say. But she wants to get out and some officer and doctor come in and they start talking about that she owes them something, and it was kind of really confusing. The officer we obviously saw from the trailer, so we know what she does to Beth. At least we know that at one point she ends up hitting Beth, but the doctor, we don't know who he is, but it does turn out that the doctor is a good guy, which is alright. Then the credits start, and then Beth tours the hospital, sort of. She sees a guy in the background, like we were wondering who he was. They saw a guy in the background, and it turns out to be Noah. I personally don't know who he is, but I know a lot of comic book readers know who he is. So Beth tours the hospital, and they drop some dude, her and her doctor, drop some dude down the elevator, and Beth goes for dinner to meet some creepy guy that starts talking about thighs and how eating is money, therefore more debt she owes them. And so Beth basically goes anorexic and she starts not eating because she's like, I don't want to stay here longer than I should, so I'm just not going to eat anything because I don't want my debt to get bigger. But as we find out, she goes and gets the dinner for the doctor, and he gives her a bit of guinea pig. She was like, yeah, she didn't really like it, I don't think, but she ate it just to be nice, I guess. But then the weird officer hits her as she didn't help doing something. I cannot remember. This is ages ago right now. I'm recording this after thingy. But the weird officer hits Beth because she gets angry over something, and Beth helps amputating this girl's arm. And then she meets Noah, who gives her a lollipop. He's like, I figured you would like this, and he gives her a lollipop, which is nice to see there's still some good people in the world. But then the officer has a huge mood swing, I think it's called, and she goes up to Beth and's like, let's talk. And she ends up talking to Beth and's like, she demands she eats. And I don't know what it is with eating. I don't know if the officer has some sort of weird fetish for eating, or she just wants Beth to be in debt forever because she's scared of losing her. She sees potential in her or something, and she doesn't want to lose her. But then Beth goes to clean something in her room, and she looks for the lollipop hidden under a bed. However, Gorman comes in. I think it's Gorman. Gorman, I think it is Gorman. He comes in and forces a lollipop down her throat, but luckily for her, the doctor saved her, which is nice. And it's like, Gorman's like, what, you're going to stand up to me, Doc? And he did, and Dawn, or the officer, she took him out and etc., and he gives her a quick, little, kind of weird, he's some sort of creep, I don't like him. Well, we didn't have to like him for long, I guess, because you clearly saw what happened at the end of the episode. But for that duration of the show, at least, I didn't really like him. But then the second, or first, I should say, it was the second, I believe, break happens, and the doctor brings Beth to the rooftops and tells the story about this little kid that I didn't really understand, so I can't really tell you anything about that, but also tells her about survival and how beyond the walls no one would survive, and then nothing, but here he's something, he's got a life, etc., and he doesn't want to leave because Beth doesn't understand why he doesn't leave. But then Beth mixes up the medicine for this guy and he starts having a seizure, and Noah was with her at the point, and he takes the blame for her little mistake, and he just gets taken out and gets beaten up. And then Beth talks to the doctor, and he tells her that she had the wrong medicine, but doesn't let her step in for Noah and just lets him get beaten up. And then the officer the next day comes into Beth's room, or later, I don't know, but some later on, get treated, don't survive or something, so she had to teach Noah a lesson, and she did, I guess. She got a game of black eye, sort of, but also tells Beth, like, gives caution to Beth, and yeah, so that basically what happens. But yeah, you could see Beth's self-harming marks, and it's the first time I think ever we've seen Beth swear on the show, and I found it pretty funny and awkward at the same time, you know what I mean, because we've never seen Beth swear. She's some sort of little, shy religious girl. That's what we see of her. Maggie's obviously had loads of character development, and now she's not really a little religious farm girl anymore, but Beth is still sort of that, shy, religious, calm girl. So for her to swear, it's kind of weird. But Noah and Beth then make an escape plan, and she sneaks into Dawn's office looking for the key, and she just starts looking for the key, and she sees that Jane or Joanna or something, the girl that they amputated the arm off, is in there dead, and Gorman walks in on her, funnily enough, and he tries to talk her into sex, and she at first said okay, and he starts groping her, he starts going under her shirt, but she hits her with the bottle, and she saw that the walker girl, I can't remember her name, she was doing that on the floor. So at the point she did that, I thought she's not dead, she's just acting dead, and it's a sign for Beth to let her kill him. But no, and Beth hit Gorman, and the girl finished him off, which was nice to see that Gorman's dead, and that's the last break. And then as soon as we go into the last bit of the episode, you see on Beth's shoes that she has a bit of blood, and she just starts walking, and she can't believe anything. And Dawn asks her what's happened, and she goes, the Joanna girl, or whatever her name, the Walker girl and Gorman are looking for you, they're in your room. And I think at that point Dawn realised that she's lying, because you did really know, I wouldn't think Dawn or the Walker girl died in there all of a sudden. I think that Dawn killed her quite a bit ago, so obviously she knows she's lying at that point, or at least that's what I thought. But Beth gets down the elevator with a bit of help from Noah, and Noah follows her, but falls into the zombie guts because a zombie jump scares him while he was going down, and they shoot all the walkers and escape the building. However, there's millions more waiting outside, which Beth takes care of and puts Noah first, as he's crippled, and he lets him escape. She lets him escape, and she gets caught. But despite her getting caught and Noah escaping, she smiles, and she still is very happy for him. And then Beth gets knocked out by the Dawn, and then once she wakes up and she gets stitched up by the doctor, she realizes that the doctor did that on purpose. I think made her kill that dude on purpose, because he's another doctor, and he if there was two doctors and he wasn't the only doctor, he'd get less protection, and he's a coward basically. And yeah, and she just confronts him, and then she walks out with a syringe or scissors, something, and she looked at the doctor sort of, and I was like, is she gonna kill the doctor? But no, the most amazing thing happens. Carol, I didn't know who it was at first. There was a zoom up on the face, and I was like, I didn't know who it was. I was like, that's Carol. And yeah, Carol gets brung into the operation room, and that's where it ends. So a lot of questions, well, not a lot of questions, but sort of a bit of questions being asked there. But I love this episode. I don't know what it was about it exactly, because it was weird, but I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10, because I love this episode. It wasn't as good as last episode, I believe it was, yes, and I gave that a 9, I believe. So I don't, although I was contemplating giving it a 9, I just couldn't, because it's not on the same level as last episode, and it'll be unfair to give it a 9 when it's really not. But I really did love this episode. I loved it because it brung variety into the show, and I love how the writers of the show can now make you entertain you without zombie killing all the time, or some warfare all the time, just by suspense, and bringing sort of new villains in, you know what I mean? Not even new villains, but just the suspense and tension, and just weird scenery and atmosphere going on. They can make you enjoy an episode so much. And like I said, variety, because we're used to seeing the group in the woods killing walkers and not like walking around a hospital with creepy people, you know what I mean? So I loved how the writers have switched up stuff and the variety, like I said. But that's why I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. But now let's go on to the questions. I'm wondering how Carol got there, because I'm thinking, like, if she was with Daryl, wouldn't Daryl save her from what possibly could have happened? So the only thing that could have happened is something like what happened with Beth. They were fighting off a load of walkers, and while Daryl was, you know, turned around, the car pulled up, put a bag over her head or something, knocked her out, and just drove off or something. That's the only thing I can hear of, because Daryl would obviously save her, in my opinion. But that's that question done. Will Noah come back for Beth? I think he will. I don't think he's there just for like that bit. I think he'll have something to do with the return of Beth or getting her out of that place. So I think he will, but I'm not 100% certain. And is the doc good or bad? Because the last thing made you look, made you feel he was a bit bad. You know, he's a bit of a coward, and he'll do anything to get himself saved. So he's not that good of a person generally. And the first little scene, I thought he was a bit weird, but overall I think he was the nicest person at the thingy, except from Noah at the hospital. So he's sort of in the middle. I like him as a person, but he's a bit of a coward, and you couldn't really rely on him, in my opinion. He did however stand up to Gorman for Beth, but then again, if he was in a life and death situation, I think he'd just be cowardly and save himself. But last question and last thing on the episode or this video, will the group come back to the hospital? Like, for example, will Daryl lead the group to the hospital, or will Carol and Beth, once Carol's like transitioned and back to full fitness, will they themselves escape and go to find the group? But that also brings me on to another question. I don't have it written down here, but who is with Daryl? Because Daryl wasn't really Daryl wasn't with anybody, as we saw. Obviously he's not with Carol anymore, so he was a bit sad to hear Carol. So Morgan, or now I'm thinking some of the officers or police from this place could go there to get, you know, kidnap everybody or something, or do something to them even, you know. Just I maybe thinking it's officers from this place, but that's basically everything, guys. Very short episode. I tried to make it very efficient because I don't have much time. But anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give this episode a like. And yeah, this was Midget. I'm going to see you guys next time. Peace out.